On this Trinity Sunday, it is traditional to preach on the doctrine of the Trinity. That is a task that preachers perhaps resist because the Trinity is such a strange, mysterious, nebulous concept, and the word Trinity doesn't even exist in the Bible. It's something that over the centuries, in a sense, was cobbled together by early Christian scholars and bishops to help affirm the place of Jesus and the idea of the Holy Spirit and the sense of God being father-like in his care and compassion and love for us. And then it became something like a stick to beat people over the head with if they didn't understand it or agree with it. So the Trinity is a very strange concept, and perhaps it's unfortunate that it's become like a mathematical equation that people must accept or be damned. But there is a way of understanding the idea of the Trinity which makes sense in a very natural way. In trying to explain it, people have come up with various analogies. Famously, St. Patrick is supposed to have thought about the idea of the clover leaf with its 3 lobes coming out. It is one little plant but has 3 leaves, and that equates to the Trinitarian idea. But there's a far better analogy from nature than that. What is it in life that gives us life, that sustains us, that holds us together all the time, moment by moment? If it wasn't there, we wouldn't be here. Is it God? Well, in nature there is something. It is the sun, that thing that even with the blinds down in this room is still filling this room with its wonderment. The sun is like our creator. It is like our sustainer. It is very much something that we can equate to God. And there is an innate Trinitarian aspect to what the sun is, what this solar power is. If we say that the body of the sun is a bit like God the Father, it is a thing. It has substance. It's a long, long way away up in the heavens, a bit like the idea of God the Father sitting up there somewhere on a cloud. It is far away, and yet it is with us all the time, and the light that I can feel on my face, the warmth, is somehow with me right here in this room, like the presence of God, even though the body of the sun is 93 million miles away, 150 million kilometers away. So the body of the sun, its substance, its physical form, is like God the Father sending out his energy and his goodness, sustaining us. And what is the Son? Jesus. Jesus is the incarnate presence of God here on earth. God come down to earth to be right here amongst us. His other name, Emmanuel, which means God is with us. Jesus, the Son, perhaps, is the light that comes from that body that is 93 million miles away, and yet it is right here with us. It helps us see the way. When Jesus said, I am the way, and he also said, I am the light of the world. It enables us to see one another, to see everything around us, to see the way in which we should go. The light right here with us is the incarnate power of the Father in our midst. That is the Son. And what about the Holy Spirit? Well, there is another energy and power associated with the sun, not just the light and the heat, but something else that all the time holds us together. Even if we were sitting in a darkened room, even in the middle of the night, even if we were in a cave where there was no sunlight able to penetrate, even if we were in a dungeon or a cellar with the door locked, we would still know the power of God. The power of the sun is with us all the time in the sense of gravity and those mysterious magnetic forces. If the sun didn't have this gravitational power, the earth would not exist and we would not exist. And the gravitational power of the sun holds us in our bodies together, moment by moment, and even in the middle of the darkest night. And that gravitational power is like the Holy Spirit, the force. May the force be with you. The force is with you. It is around you all the time. All you have to do is to become aware of it. And so in the sun, the solar power, we have this inbuilt Trinitarian idea. God is like the sun. The Father is like the body of the sun up in the heavens 93 million miles away. The sun is like the light and the heat that surrounds us right here on earth. Even though the sun is far away, the light and the heat surrounds us right here, as close as one another. And the Holy Spirit, the power of God, holds us together moment by moment, even in darkness. It is the gravitational and the magnetic power of God. Perhaps the Creator has set the sun in the heavens as an illustration of what God is to us. Without the sun being there, the earth would not be here, and each of us would not be here. We owe it our life, and each morning we may look at it with a sense of worship of the Creator, which can lift our hearts and make us feel full of the Spirit. Perhaps there is one PS to add. This idea of the Trinity, sometimes depicted in traditional art as three chaps sitting together, perhaps round a table. It is rather male oriented. Where does the female come into it? Perhaps we can say that the planet that sustains us is our Mother Earth, and in that there is a sense of divinity, the essence of divinity. And so in the divinity we have this wonderful dual balanced idea, the male and the female, like a mother and a father, infinitely loving. All things to do with the solar power, the sun, are perhaps male in character, and the earth where we live and that sustains us, and the earth itself is full of mysterious, wonderful powers. Perhaps that is like female characteristics. And so we see the presence of God and the love of God in some wonderful, mysterious, illustrative way in the cosmos and in nature. And if we see it in those ways, then this rather odd Christian doctrine begins to make perfect sense. The Collect Prayer for Trinity Sunday. Almighty and everlasting God, you have given your servants grace by the confession of a true faith to acknowledge the glory of the eternal Trinity, and in the power of the divine majesty to worship the unity. Keep us steadfast in this faith, that we may evermore be defended from all adversities, now and forever. Amen.